results. So this is the volunteer survey that we conducted last year, 2014. And we didn't send it to all the volunteers. It was sent to, well, maybe it was sent to all the volunteers, but it was sent, like, we wanted core volunteers to complete this survey. So I want to just share with you some of the summary of that. So I believe my volunteer time and effort has an impact on Ronald McDonald House Charity's mission and families. So most agree. I feel well informed. Most strongly agree, or a few of them just agree. I believe RMHC is providing exemplary guest-centered services. So this had a really high response rate. And that's the same for our staff survey that I'll show you. I believe the new facility is well suited to serve guests. So 100% said yes. And then we asked guests about what would make their experience more worthwhile. And it was about having more parties. Maybe identifying a skill set among volunteers so that time could be more efficiently used. Many times when I come for my service, there's very little to do. My time is spent sitting at the computer. If necessary, then I will continue to do it. But if there are better uses of my time, I will gladly help out. So one of the things we're always looking at is how do we staff ourselves properly so that we're not too thin with staff while not having 3 staff members at the front desk with a volunteer sitting there reading a book not knowing what their contribution is. So figuring out how to manage that piece is a challenge, I think. I love being here, working with Lauren. Does a great job. Clear directions. So people want training. This thing about being too political, that's a board member. You can disregard that. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. He's a heckler. So I think that overall the responses were really quite exceptional to this survey. And now I'm going to show you the employee survey. So we did a survey for the first time of our employees last January. Well, the first time in my experience. And we had 18 responses. And then we did the same survey this year and had 22 responses, which is great. And so I'm going to give you a little sense of the comparison of how that looked previously and how it looks this year. And this doesn't have the individuals, current year, well, anyway. It doesn't have the individuals, it has aggregated the information. So the staff provide exemplary guest services. So 70% strongly agree with this. This is up about 10% from last year, which is great because this is a really good general gauge of how we're doing. I feel well prepared and excited to grow in the expansion. This is down significantly. So this is half strongly agree, half agree, which is still really positive and awesome. And I think it's down about 25% from last year. And that may be because people are not, the expansion's finished, so the excitement's kind of petering out because now we're here. But so I don't know if it's about it already being completed or if it's about people not feeling well prepared. So if it's the excitement about the new project or if it's about preparation. So our final exercise, the So What Now, will kind of circle back to this because I want to get at the root of that piece. My supervisor provides clear expectations, communication, and support to help me succeed in my position. So 13 people strongly agreed, 6 people agree, 2 people are neutral, and 1 person disagrees that they're getting clear expectations, communication, and support to help you succeed. And one of the things I'll say in this area is we want to do a better job at it, and and it's important and incumbent upon each of us to ask for what you need. If you're not getting something, ask for it. And I have received positive or constructive feedback regarding my performance during the last year. This has increased, actually. So we had 13 who strongly agree, 6 who agree, 2 who are neutral, and 1 disagrees. So positive, constructive feedback, which is absolutely critical, and it's imperative that the staff and managers are able to do that. In my work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best. So that doesn't mean that we get to do what we love all the time, because we don't live in a magic kingdom, unfortunately. But are there pieces of your work, is there an element of your work where you get to do what you do best? And that's what this is meant to get at. And it's about strengths-based leadership to me. So similarly, and this is very similar to the prior year, so there wasn't much change in this. 42% strongly agree, 42% agree. 2 people disagree, or I mean are neutral, 1 person disagrees. My supervisor values me and genuinely cares about me as a person. So about 70% strongly agree, 20% agree, 13% are neutral. My coworkers are committed to doing high quality work. And this one, we had 7% strongly agree, 31% strongly agree, 60% agree, and 9% are neutral. And I like the idea of the 360s for this purpose. Okay, biggest concern I have at RMHC. Working around a difficult coworker. Need more support with housekeeping late at night. The internet connection is way too slow at night. Too many people are online because that's when people are here, is late at night. And so that's important to know. The workload. People are feeling overwhelmed by the workload. Allowing time for the expansion to be running smoothly before we add too many more tasks. So loading on to already busy workloads. Consistency with guest experiences. So that's about each experience having a high level of consistency with sort of exceeding expectations and so forth. Communication between team members. That it's a challenge. It's the only way to make sure people get information is to schedule a meeting, and meetings are overdone and annoying. Changes and updates don't get communicated effectively. New position openings aren't posted or offered to employees openly. Time. I worry that the nice new things we've created won't be treated carefully, and they'll get damaged. We want the community service volunteers to do things that fit their training or their skill sets and their abilities. We want to increase the conservation program so that there's less waste, like styrofoam cups in the kitchen. Smiley face. I've been asking for more training in guest services and haven't received it. I've also asked for it on my evaluations. Workloads have doubled since the East Wing has opened, and everyone is feeling the pressure of new workloads. We need the right people in the right roles. Sometimes there's a lack of communication. Growth and support. It's important to have structure and staffing support in place for growth, and we don't want to see families negatively affected by our lack of staffing or overworked employees. Not everyone has had the training that we need to effectively work in our positions. We need to create better orientation so people aren't left to do things they're unsure about or have to figure things out on their own. It creates a lot of opportunities for confusion and interpretation. Our expectations for ourselves and each other need to be clear. The vibe of some volunteers and how the atmosphere changes with different people. And I would say that that's probably true for both staff and volunteers, that the vibe changes depending on who the interaction is. Sustaining and maintaining a bigger facility and all the costs that go into that. So that's the That's the bad news. Or not the bad news, it's the honest news about sort of what is worrying people, and I really appreciate that. This is about me because, you know, I have to make something about me. So my executive director provides effective leadership. So this is a 5-point scale between strongly agree and disagree. So this has gone down for me. So I'm going to pay attention to that, and I'm attributing it not to my evilness, but instead to the fact that I've been absent, that I haven't been over here, and that I probably haven't been as active as I should be. So 72% agree with that, 22%. So I think it was weighted at 1.4. That's okay, and it's okay because the truth is, if you don't know these things, you can't really do anything about it. And so I'm good with honesty. I'm fine with that. In the past year, I've had opportunities to learn and grow. So about 72% strongly agreed, 18% agree, one person strongly disagrees, one person's neutral, it looks like. And then the best thing about working at the house. So as you saw with the biggest